What is up, you guys? Catch each and every episode of the Pizza Carlo podcast down below. I put the link to our podcast, and the first episode is what you're going to watch a clip of with our head of cryptocurrency trading over at Capitalist Academy. His name is Chris Plaguescape. We talked for 3.5 hours, and this is just one little clip. If you want to watch the full episode of the podcast, use the link below. Hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get started. Go back to Doge quickly.
Sure.
Two things. Do you ever see it potentially becoming a currency? Because that's one thing a lot of people ask. Not money, but essentially a currency. And two, this is like a funnier question, but why was Elon backing it so heavy?
So you're
Like as
really
a
getting
meme?
me in.
Like as a meme? Or do you think there's a conspiracy behind it? Or do you think he truly
Both.
believes in it?
Both,
Yeah.
all three.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I asked, because I agree.
Man, I can just see the people. Like we got a member in our group, goes by the name Kong, and he's balls deep in Doge, and he's gonna love half of what I say, and then he's gonna stab me in the face for the rest. All right, so can Doge become a currency? Short answer, yes. Realistic answer,
probability,
probably not, depending, dot. Elon Musk's involvement. So one of the fun things I like to do is I like to read books from time to time. I know this is crazy. I know there are horrible things they gave you in school and you hate it every second of it. But when you
that's 1/10 of my collection.
So I actually I would say about a month or two ago just got done reading another Elon Musk book, kind of getting some insight on his life and his growing up and what he does and how he did. And there's some shady bits in there. There's a lot that people don't know, that like he didn't really start PayPal. He didn't really start Tesla. He basically used different methods to acquire those companies and become in control of them. And that's not always a bad thing. I'm not saying he's Dr. Evil or anything like that, but like, he did what he needed to do to get the control of what he wanted. I mean, we wouldn't have the electric cars we have today if it wasn't for him. So, we'll give him that. Now, the thing is Musk has been headbutting with the SEC and other random things. As you know, he got it was like a $40 million fine or some insane number like that, because he made a tweet about Tesla
public or private.
Yeah, making Tesla go private again. And he's, let's be real, the dude probably lit up a joint, had one too many, was like, haha, this is funny, and then doesn't realize that when you're the richest man in the world and everyone's following you at fanatical fan base levels. And I mean, what is Tesla's stock? It's like, it was like 600% over what it should be. And then like they split and it kept going. So he has a problem with them because as you know, with what was it? It was the GameStop, I think, was the one where they pushed the stock, and instead of us following the rules that were laid out, it went, well, all the big players went, no. These rules only work for the people that don't have dark pool access and everything else like that. So he's definitely unhappy with them. So crypto is unregulated currently. I mean, there's taxes. The government will absolutely come after you for the taxes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They made sure they got their priorities straight. Their first thing to do was not to regulate it, not to make it safe. It was to make sure that they can tax the living hell out of it so they can get their share. But yeah, so the with it being unregulated, he realizes that the SEC can't come after him. They can't bitch at him for all the things that he's already gotten in trouble for. And he's basically kind of using this like a, screw you guys, you can't touch me here. This is now my spot. And the thing is unfortunately, he does have to realize, like, there's tons of stories out there, like people are fanatical about him. And they are just so in love with some of the things that he's doing, like SpaceX, Tesla. We're moving our civilization closer to like a type 1 because of one guy.
And he's so Tony Stark.
Well, exactly.
People follow him for just.
Well, do you know the story about the Tesla in Tony Stark's garage?
No, I do
Oh,
know he was
okay.
in Iron Man 3
Yeah,
in the
one of the
beginning.
Iron Mans, they actually the Robert Downey Jr., the actor, hung out with Elon, and they gave him, you know, a tour of the facility and all that other stuff, because they're basically like, this is who Tony Stark should be. Emulate this guy, and that's why there was a Tesla right by the desk, because
Yeah.
it was Tony Stark's most prized possession, because it came from his friend Elon Musk that taught him what he like. It was a really neat nod and all that other stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's what people think. He's basically thinks he's Iron Man at this point, which, I mean, if he came out, I mean, he gave people flamethrowers. If he comes out in
Yeah.
a suit of armor that flies, I wouldn't even be surprised at this point.
Yeah.
But the whole Dogecoin thing, that's a problem, is when you have those fanatical people following, they'll dump their life savings. There's a story of a guy that was a taxi driver, dumped his life savings of 10K into Doge, and then Elon made a stupid tweet that caused Doge to crash,
Mm-hmm.
and the dude lost everything. He lost his life savings because
Yep.
Elon Musk made a tweet. And the problem is like, on one hand, we have people that are suffering because of this, and on the other hand, you have Elon basically being like, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, he's driving home the point even harder, but it's at the cost of people that aren't that well off being less well off.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of gets a little on the shady side. Now, there is a theory that me and some other crypto people have, you know, stirred up, that this might be Elon's kind of like way of trying to take over Doge, because you have to look at his involvement with Bitcoin. So let's just get this on the table to lay the groundwork. We know Elon Musk, from his own doings, basically created electric vehicles. He's making solar panels. He's making giant batteries that charge homes. He is launching rocket ships into outer space. Sure, he didn't get all the due dates that he said he wanted to get done, but this is the stuff that he is accomplishing. Okay.
Neuralink.
Yeah,
Working on that
Neuralink,
too.
things along that line. We cannot in any way, shape, or form say that Elon Musk is stupid. He is probably one of the smartest men on this planet right now that's alive. Now, you cannot tell me that the smartest man on the planet alive didn't realize that Bitcoin uses electricity. It's like, oh, it uses, no, this is bad for the environment. There's no way. He knew exactly what he was doing. You have to look at the financials. So he goes in, he buys Bitcoin, he makes it public. This was the start of pushing towards the whole cryptocurrency mass adoption exception, because we were waiting for a major company to do it. MicroStrategy obviously was buying, but their whole thing was Bitcoin. This is a company that's not. The next thing you know, you got rumors floating around, or like Walmart's buying. You have all these other different companies. They're buying to hedge against the inflation. He pulls all that Bitcoin in, and he gives the option for people to buy Teslas with Bitcoin, saying on record that the reason they bought Bitcoin was so that people could buy with Bitcoin. Now, you got to follow the steps here. So I'm sorry if this is a little long, but this will paint the larger picture. So he bought all this Bitcoin, right? But you can't get, say, a refund or paid back in Bitcoin. They only accepted Bitcoin. They didn't need a reason to have that much Bitcoin on their balance sheet other than as a hedge against inflation.
Yeah.
Now, there's insiders from Tesla that leaked information saying that they were buying Bitcoin long before they ever publicly announced the idea to buy Teslas with Bitcoin. And they knew that, you know, like with the tests with Doge and stuff, that he could pump the price or dump the price, and the SEC couldn't come after him. All right. So we now have those pieces together. They gave the option for people to buy Teslas with Bitcoin. And I think they had a total of like 17 people buy a Tesla. No offense, but a car is a depreciating asset.
Yeah, why would you give that?
Why would you give an appreciating asset for a depreciating asset other than for the meme? You know, so these people that bought it, the whopping 17, they bought it for the meme, good for them. But nobody's going to be buying Teslas. They knew that this wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And then what they did is they had one of their best quarters ever. But if you look at where all the money came from, it was because they pumped the hell out of Bitcoin. It went up, and all those numbers on their balance sheet came from the Bitcoin pump.
I think it
And
was like
then they,
33% of revenue.
yeah,
Like
it was
if
some
they didn't
number.
have that revenue, they would have actually taken a loss for that
Yep.
quarter.
Exactly. So they did what they needed to do to pump and fluff their balance sheets. People not knowing that it came from the Bitcoin, they were buying the stock, which helped bring their stock up. I can't remember when it was that they were splitting or selling more or something, but that was all tied in. Elon's not stupid. He knew exactly
Yeah.
what he was doing. And then he comes out and he goes, "Oh, Bitcoin uses electricity." Yes, cryptocurrencies use electricity. He's not dumb. He knew
Yeah,
that,
no, yeah.
and
He didn't
yeah,
wake up one
and it
morning like,
just goes right down. And of course, that all happens after they had sold a
yep.
large percent, and that caused more FOMO. And all the people that don't understand the technology or the China coal mining FUD or any of that, which we can get into that on a side tangent if you want to, because there's a lot of fake information out about that. But they didn't understand that. So these people then are selling all their Bitcoin after they already pumped it, made their profits, and took it, so they get to sit on Bitcoin and hold it. And the thing is it's not like they said they're selling. Elon didn't say he was selling. If
Yeah.
anything, he was buying more for his personal account. The whole reason it turned into that kind of show there was because like the board members didn't like the factor that all that money was coming from Bitcoin. They didn't like it, so they didn't want any more involvement in it. So there's a chance that the whole reason he did that was because he was pushed by the board members to say like, no more Bitcoin for us. Like, we're not going to do this anymore because we don't like that all of our numbers are hyperinflated because of this asset that moves 30% in a day.
Yeah.
Now, there's another theory that, and those are all facts. Now, this is where the theory part goes off. Him going off on Doge because of the faster transactions and all this other stuff, him saying that he's in contact with the developers and all that. I don't know Elon Musk's personal information, but I don't know Doge developers. It's one of those things where like there's really nobody there. The people that made Doge even said we're not in control of it anymore. Like we don't even, like, the people that made the actual cryptocurrency that they forked it off, they're like, we don't have it. We don't do anything. We don't develop it. It was a joke. And I think that there is a very large potential in the future, which we'll get into NFTs later, and this will make it, make more sense of it. But the NFT part of cryptocurrency, where those are non-fungible tokens, for people that don't know what an NFT is, that basically creating like currency, or almost like things that can't be replicated, or say even using it as a currency and using like gift cards or something. Musk, I think, is looking at Doge as a way that, because he has this fan base that follows him, because originally Doge was just Doge and people said it's Elon Musk currency. They made it into the meme, and then that's when he started going into Doge. It wasn't he went into Doge and then they made memes. So like he knew that the community was already gung-ho to have him control it as a joke, as part of the meme. If he takes over Doge completely, he's got all the resources, all the money, and he can just go, here's what I want to change about Doge. Because keep in mind, he's saying, no, don't look at Bitcoin, look at Doge. And then while everyone's there hopping on board on Doge, he can turn Doge into the currency that he wishes Bitcoin was. And then he's in control of it because they're all answering to him and making the development choices in his direction. Now, I'm looking at this as if I was like an evil Elon Musk of sorts. And I think that's probably the best play, or the play that he's looking at is like taking over Doge gives him his own thing, and he can just be like, this is the official currency of whatever, and we can do transactions for Teslas here and all that, and ignore Bitcoin, because if he controls that currency, like he can make it his own internal, like this is for SpaceX and all the other things I touch. It's a little out there, but it's not too far-fetched when you think about the factor that like in